Streets of Rage is the 1991 classic that went on to be the best-selling Sega game the following year, was inspired by classic 70s action shows like The A-Team and Starsky and Hutch. If you don't think those shows are awesome, then themselves. Anyway, we begin the game by learning about some kind of criminal organization led by Mr. X, the same man who was harassing Thomas the Kung Fu Master a few years earlier. Three cops decide to take the law into their own hands and begin risking their lives on the streets of Rage, whatever that means. So we start off with our protagonist, Axel Stone, falling from the sky onto the streets, and oh my, do you hear this sick beat? That is awesome. So anyways, Axel starts walking on the streets when some guys who look like they're out of West Side Story start to attack him. Then some guy coming out of the diner, minding his own business, who just so happened to be wearing the same clothes as the thugs, gets his ass kicked. Then after Axel suplexes a guy so hard into a nearby phone booth that it gets obliterated, leaving behind a rump roast, he then must fight some dominatrix, which makes no sense. This gang looks like it consists of the most random individuals, and who knows how they even took over the city in the first place. Axel finally reaches the end of the stage when he fights the West Side Story gang leader crossed with a Where's Waldo, who also looks like he belongs in an episode of Tailspin. Apparently, this guy fights with a boomerang, so it must be the same guy Thomas took out in Kung Fu Master. So after beating the boomerang guy, Axel falls out of the sky again, finding himself in a bad part of town. He beats up some more syndicate thugs when this juggling clown guy just comes out of nowhere. I mean, seriously, who recruits a guy who juggles? I mean, the standards must be supremely lax for this criminal organization. Then again, Mr. X did employ dragons, snakes, and butterflies, so it shouldn't be a surprise that we'd have some guy from the circus. Anyways, after that exchange, a discount Saiyan Freddy Krueger in a jean jacket appears only to get the kicked out of him. Now Axel's on a beach about to fight the Ultimate Warrior, and then proceeds to suplex him out of existence. Apparently, after he defeats the Ultimate Warrior, the goon that was with him decides, fuck this shit, and launches himself out of existence. Axel then finds himself on an unfinished bridge, beating up some more goons when he's about to get surrounded, but some police car manages to drive up and fire off a rocket launcher, which somehow misses everybody involved, but still manages to save Axel's ass. Anyway, he reaches the boss of the stage, which happens to look like the guy who explodes in Big Trouble in Little China, which Axel proceeds to kick his ass. After all that nonsense on the bridge, our hero finds himself on a speeding boat, punching some glued down vents that don't seem to serve any function. I guess the bad guys were hiding their money in there, and someone put an apple away for some reason? I don't know. After beating the Ultimate Warrior once again, Axel is greeted by those juggling dickheads who appear to taunt him by doing the juggler shuffle. I guess we're inventing new dance moves, and it's more important than actually fighting because they actually get their kicked. Anyways, at the end of the boat ride, Axel's betrayed by his partner Blaze, who brings along a twin sister, and then they proceed with 30 minutes of this nonsense. After all that jumping around, Axel finally defeats his old partner. In the next stage, we arrive at a non-OSHA approved factory. I mean, seriously, Look at these working conditions. We've got random conveyor belts on the floor and pressure plates that cause hydraulic presses to come down quickly on anybody stupid enough to walk over them. Who the hell designed this place? And why didn't somebody question the person who was designing it? What the hell? Anyways, after all that hard work making it through the factory, who do we get to fight? Not one discount Super Saiyan Freddy Krueger in a jean jacket, but two of them. I guess the game devs got lazy and ran out of people to put as bosses. So after defeating discount Walmart Krueger Saiyans, the factory leads outside to a non-OSHA approved freight elevator, which turns out that the factory was just a ground floor, and that at the top is a large penthouse. Makes you wonder who the designed this building for a second time. So after beating all the bosses in the game for the third time, Axel reaches Mr. X, and their showdown begins. After Mr. X shoots a bunch of his own guys, Axel is finally able to suplex him into oblivion, saving the day once again. But no, we're not finished just yet, because this game has multiple endings, and I say multiple with a grain of salt. Whether Axel is joined by one of his friends or not, when they decide to join the criminal boss Mr. X, he decides to make the dumbest criminal decision in history. Instead of recruiting the people who just obliterated his entire organization, he decides it's better to just use a trapdoor and send them back down to the factory. This decision was so stupid. Not only were they gonna beat the out of more of his henchmen, but they were definitely coming back to kick his ass. Should have sent them in an incinerator, then he could have actually triumphed. But oh well, that's what you get from a guy who employs butterflies. Looks like Mr. X is out on his again. But seriously, why even bother giving you the choice if it's not gonna mean anything? Seriously, these end credits don't change at all. What the fuck was the point of adding a choice? God damn it, game devs, don't give people a choice if it's illusion. That is stupid.